dear participating teachers, good morning to all of you. You see, as teacher, all of us have been employing lecture mode of imparting instruction, isn't it? So you know that every day thousands of teachers deliver the exact same lesson in class to millions of students, and every night millions of students sit over the exact same homework trying to figure out how to solve it. So traditionally, you see students listen to lectures and take homework or take tests in the class and read textbooks, workbooks on problem sets at home. And if you look at this method, you will find that this method has number of shortcomings, and all of us have been, criticizing this mode of presenting presentation to the students. So if you can take 1 minute and you can identify a frustration that you have in your teaching with your students learning when you are imparting instruction through lecture mode of instruction method. So you can write on a piece of paper and ask yourself that if I could fix one thing in my classes, it would be. So I think most of you will agree with me that in a traditional teaching, the the teacher is delivering instruction many a times at a very high rate of delivery. So it is not adequate as per the students requirement, because in the classroom there are number of students, variety of students sitting in the classroom. Some students learn very slow, some students learn best when something is shown to them, some students learn best when they are involved. So you see, pace is not as per the requirement of the student, and many times the teacher uses a very high vocabulary. The language is not appropriate for many of the students in the classroom, and number of occasions the teacher is not able to interact media or integrate media in the classroom. And you see, there are varied learning outcomes, learning outcomes pertaining to knowledge, skills, attitudes. So for achieving the learning outcomes in all the three areas, we have been employing only the lecture mode of imparting instruction. So if you see, critically analyze this lecture method, you will find you can categorize all your findings in four categories of one is related to student motivation, second is unique instructional capabilities, third is support for new instructional opportunities, that is opportunities for continuing discussion for peer learning. It is not available in traditional teaching. And teachers increase productivity, that is teacher wants to do much more than mere using chalk and talk and do frequent assessment. And but because of the number of problems with the lecture method, the teacher is not able to, you see give his full justice. Now when it comes to student motivation, so you see, as a teacher, I need to capture the interests of my students. Now you can reflect upon your own teaching, on how many equations you have been able to gain the attention and the interest of the students in the classroom, because there are a number of students sitting in the classroom. Your approach is to complete the content in one go. As a teacher, I want students to have a greater sense of control over their learning. Again, it is not possible. Why? Because teacher is teaching, is delivering lecture at a very high speed, high pace, which is not appropriate for various types of students sitting in the classroom. Another is that my students are not prepared for class discussion because they haven't kept up with the textbook reading. They are indulged in textbook reading. Now, coming to the unique instructional capabilities, as a teacher, I have got So you see, as a teacher, I need to be able to demonstrate processes. So the syllabi is very long and the content is too much. So the teacher is, you see, obsessed with delivering the content. So demonstration part is very, you see, very less. My students need access to extra resources to update, to expand on what the text offers. Now, you can ask yourself, have you given any, you see, references to extra resources? You see, Google has got large information. YouTube has got large number of videos. I'm not able to, identify. I'm not able to give them the links. I would like students to track their progress in the course, in the content. You see, in a classroom, I ask one or two students, and that too only one or two students. Okay, one or two question, and that too only one or two students. No, this is not possible that I can ask question to all the students in a traditional teaching. Another is that my students need to be able to assess their understanding of the content. Self evaluation is not possible. My students need to spend more time on task practicing a skill. Again, it is not possible in a traditional classroom. Teacher is, you see, pouring the information. His aim is to complete the content. So he is not giving sufficient time to the students for practicing a particular skill. Now, in regard to opportunities for new instructional approaches, you see, as a teacher, I would like to reduce the amount of time spent in class on lecturing without sacrificing coverage of the content. So this is possible only if I provide them the learning content beforehand. That is, before they come to the classroom, they can prepare themselves. Only they can get clarification in the classroom, or they can complete some task in the classroom. My students need opportunities for continuing discussion, peer learning. Again, it is not possible because the teacher has to complete the content in the classroom, and he is not allowing any student to interact with other students. I would like to help my students focus on understanding, application, higher than application, rather than merely, you see, focusing on memorization aspect. I would like to give my students a greater sense of responsibility for their learning. I am now doing spoon feeding in the classroom. I am not making them responsible. Okay. Now, in regard to increase teacher productivity, I would like to do more activity based learning in the classroom. But I have, you see, a lot of material I need to cover, not possible in a traditional class. I would like students to have more frequent grade updates. Again, you see, in a traditional classroom teaching, so it is not possible. So, in what category would you put your need? You see, faculty must be encouraged to move from teaching model to a learning model. The question is, how do you do that in your class? How do you, as a teacher at an institution that emphasizes teaching, move from sage on the stage? Because in a traditional lecture, teacher acts as a sage. Sage is a person who has got wisdom, experience. Now the shift has to be from sage on the stage to guide on the side. That is, The teacher needs to act as a facilitator. The content part, the material, the learning material module he has developed, he can give that material to the student beforehand, so they can self study the material. They will come to the classroom. The teacher will supplement the detail with more example. The teacher can get clarify the doubts of the students in the classroom, and students will actively participate in the problem solving in the classroom. Now, if I look at how do we reach this new generation of learners who are, you see, highly devised. You see that many devices have become popular across generations, and you know that many majority of the students are now owning cell phones, laptops, or desktop computers. The younger lot is leading the way in increased mobility, preferring laptop to desktop, using their cell phones for a variety of functions, including internet, email, music, games, video, and so on. They are highly networked, you know, they are highly interactive. They cannot sit idle. They want to interact with the colleague, with the friends, with the media, with the material, and they are highly social. They don't want to complete the task alone. They want to carry out the task with their, you see, peer group. Now, if I show you the findings of one survey which was conducted by Kaiser Family Foundation on a group of 8 to 18-year-old, you see, kids, they have observed that this target group spends about 6 hours 21 minutes with media per day. 26% of the time they use more than two media simultaneously: mobile, laptop, okay, iPad, iPod. 3 hours on TV video per day, 1 hour music per day, 1 hour using computer, 49 minutes playing video games, 43 minutes of recreational reading. It means the students, uh, for them, the computers are not technology. They indulge in multitasking. Multitasking can mean many things. For example, doing two or more tasks at the same time, like listening to music while studying. Or multitasking mean switching back and forth between tasks, such as reading a book and checking social media between pages, isn't it? Multitasking means doing a number of tasks quickly, one after the other, like, say, answering a practice question, reading another subject's homework, and then studying one pages of course. So multitasking while doing homework, but you see, can interfere with a student's ability to learn and absorb information. So reality is more and more a meaningless term for them, because most of their waking time is spent in virtual world. Now, let us have a look at what we know about successful learning. Successful learning is the result of active participation on the part of students, involving actively engaging students with the content through discussion, problem solving, case study, role plays, maybe some other method. Contextual, a type of constructive learning that enables students to understand the facts or the figures and relate them with real life examples. In a classroom, teacher delivers only you can say only deliver the abstract kind of information. Many a times he doesn't relate with examples from daily life, he doesn't show visuals, he doesn't integrate some video. You see, many videos are available on YouTube. So ultimately, this type of learning puts more emphasis on motivating students to make connection between what they are learning and its application in their real life situation. So it is based upon a constructivist with theory of teaching and learning. So learning takes place when teachers are able to present information in such a way that students are able to construct meaning based on their own experiences. Engaged, it allows the students to participate. Interactive and social. So successful learning is the result of interaction with the environment. Successful learning is the result of uh, result of socializing with the peer fellows and so on. Now, if you look at the learning pyramid, uh, you will also agree with me that if you have read some material yourself, and if I ask you to, reproduce, you will be able to comprehend only 10% of what you read, because you have, while reading, you might have got some doubts, you need answer, you need clarification. Now if you hear to what the teacher is telling you, okay, maybe he if he shows some examples or some visuals, you can comprehend only 20% of what you hear. And if the teacher is showing some visuals, okay, you will be able to comprehend 30%. And if you are watching a demonstration or some video, 50% of what you can both 50% of what you can comprehend what you both hear and see. And when you are involved, when you are asked to reproduce 70% of that material, you can comprehend while making presentation. And 90% of what you both say and do, that is simulating a real experience and doing the real thing. So to address these needs, we try to open up class time for active learning strategies. And the question is, how do I do and still provide the same coverage of the content? And this is nothing but, we say, the classroom flip model. That is, in a traditional teaching, you are delivering lecture and giving them some homework. Now in flipped model, it is the reverse. That is, what is typically presented in the class, that is lecture content or background knowledge or real life experiences by a teacher. You see, in this case, students receive the lecture content, background knowledge, video at home, via reading material or YouTube video or other online resources. And when they come to the classroom, they get their doubts clarified from the teacher. Teacher can supplement with more examples. Teacher can give them homework in the classroom. Those students participate in the homework. So the flipped classroom is turning this upside down. As I told you, that traditionally students listen to lectures and take tests in class, read textbooks, and work on problem sets in home at home. In flip teaching, students first study the topic by themselves, typically using the e-content or video lesson on YouTube, and then apply the knowledge by solving problems and doing practical work in the classroom. Friends, many good institutions, they have started delivering, they have started using flipped mode of imparting instruction because they have reported many benefits. You see, flipped classroom allows all students to learn at their own pace because they can read the material again and again. They can watch the video again and again. Now, in a classroom, teacher speaks once, and some students, if some student is not attentive, they will not be able to, you see, comprehend. Now, in this case, material is available with them. They need not write the content because you might have noticed that in a traditional teaching, many teachers dictate their notes in the classroom. They are not involved. Students are not involved. So the abstract information they are passing to the students. Now here the material is with them. Teacher has identified some video from YouTube, provided the link also. Maybe the teacher can record his own video using his own mobile camera. So allows all students to learn at their own pace. Now you see, this flipped mode is more efficient. Why? Because students enter the classroom prepared. When they are prepared, they can contribute. So this mode can enrich the lesson, as you see, more time can be spent on group classroom activities or project, and doing homework in class allows students to help each other. So this will definitely benefit both the above average students and below average students. So it is a technique, it is a type of blended learning focusing on student engagement, active learning, giving the teacher a better opportunity to deal with different levels of students. They can diagnose student difficulties, they can provide solution to their difficulties. So traditional, this is the traditional model that the lecture is delivered and students are carrying out the homework. Now this is reversed, that is lecture content you have given them, or you can upload the lecture content. Not only the e-content, you can also uh, give the video material also. Okay, I'll give you the example of the e-content, how you can develop the e-content and what are the features of e-content, maybe the PDF format or maybe the computer assisted instruction package. So the material, this material which you are providing to the student for using through for using for imparting instruction through flipped mode, should be on self learning mode, self instructional, self contained, self evaluation, self motivating, all the components. I'll let you know. Now, in the classroom, that is in a flipped classroom, now the students participate in small groups. Okay. So, what is typically given as homework is done in class with the assistance of the teacher. Okay. You see, we are living in a time when things are moving fast. I think you agree with me. The rules of the game are changing. The technology is changing. Science is changing. The world of work has also changed. But you see, our students are, for the most part, constrained by traditional transmission model of learning. Today's students grew up with the internet access, YouTube, Facebook, MySpace, and a number of other digital resources. They can typically be found doing their homework while texting their friends, isn't it? Iming on Facebook, listening to music, all at the same time. So, the use of the traditional learning, which focuses on the teacher as the center of knowledge, I think is irrelevant in today's digital age, because students have got access to internet. Even they can contribute in the classroom. So, as a solution, traditional classroom activity like lecture or lab work can be moved to the Web 2.0 technology, and students can study everywhere, anywhere outside the classroom. So, flipped classroom is known as a student centered approach to learning, where students are more active than the teacher in the classroom activity. So in this particular case, teacher can act as a facilitator to motivate, to guide, and to give feedback on students' performance. Uh, Ellen, an educationist, has looked at various pedagogical theories and examined their applications to the flipped classroom. These theorists include Vygotsky, Bloom, Keller, Skinner, and Ellen has tried to give a concise introduction to each theorist fundamentals, and he has tried to apply it to the flipped classroom. Firstly, he has observed uh, Russian development psychologist Lev Vygotsky. He has proposed a theory of development of higher cognitive function in students. So his theories emphasize that students can reach higher level of understanding through group work. And as I told you, it's a very important component of flipped classroom, that is doing homework in a group. While lectures emphasize conformity and memorization, group work in flipped classroom emphasizes problem solving and application of knowledge. So Bloom, an American educational psychologist, he has contributed to the theory of mastery learning model. The material is given to the students. They can read again and again. They can watch the video again and again at their own pace. And since the learning material contains inbuilt questions, practice task questions, and these are also followed by feedback. So they get feedback themselves. They can proceed further only when their responses are appropriate. So this is by Bloom, and this is the feature of self-learning material which we provide to the student in a flipped classroom. Keller, American experimental psychologist who developed personalized system of instruction, PSI. He has also laid emphasis on mastery learning. He developed the Keller plan. Now the Keller plan, you see, contains the material in small chunks. This is the feature of self-learning material. Material is presented in small steps with visuals, illustrations, examples, followed by practice task and feedback. Then the next chunk of material. So both are related. And then Skinner, American psychologist and behaviorist, and he has developed theories of reinforcement or and radical behaviorism. So students first master a concept before proceeding to the next one with the practice task question and prompt feedback rather than delayed feedback, during a traditional method when students are given homework to complete at home. So this is applicable to flipped classroom as in-class activities allow for a chance at immediate assessment of applied knowledge. So a flipped classroom is one that inverts the typical cycle of, you see, content acquisition and application so that students gain necessary knowledge. Knowledge is presented to them through e-content. E-content may be in the form of self-learning material or computer-assisted instruction package. Video, you can uh, uh, identify the appropriate video from YouTube or Google, or you can develop your own video with the help of your own mobile camera. Now, this material is given to them in advance. Maybe you can upload in the website. Maybe you can pass it on through their. You can make a, you see, WhatsApp group and provide the links. Now, in a classroom, teacher will guide the student to actively and interactively clarify and apply that knowledge. So, flipped class intentionally shifts instruction to a learner-centered model in which time in the classroom is used to explore topics in greater depth and create meaningful learning opportunities while students are initially introduced to new topics outside of the class. So content delivery may take a variety of forms like say video lecture prepared by the teacher or third party, and online collaborative discussion, digital research or text reading, etc. Now, let us see what the educationists have said about flipped classroom. Bergman and Sams. They say flipped classroom is something which is traditionally done in class is now done at home, and that which is traditionally done as homework is now completed in the class. I think the concept is now clear to all of you that flipped classroom is the reverse of traditional teaching. Traditional teaching involves delivering lecture in the classroom and providing some tasks as homework. Now, in a flipped classroom, the content is delivered to the student in advance and they come prepared, or if they have got any doubt, they can seek further information, clarification. Teacher can supplement with more examples, and then teacher will provide them a list of exercises which the student can do individually or in small groups. So flipped classroom, according to Smith, involves pushing lecture material outside the classroom as a form of homework, leaving more time in class for interaction, for engaging them in exercises. Set of pedagogical approaches that move most information transmission teaching out of class and use class time for learning activities that are active and social and require students to complete pre and post class activities to fully benefit from in class work. Now, I am giving you the comparative picture of the traditional model and the flipped model. So this is the old, that is traditional, and this is the new, that is after the flip. Now in a old model, students are assigned something to read. Okay, firstly they read, and then during the classroom they try to follow along, and teacher try to get through all the material. Student attempt the homework, and teacher you see grades past work, and students want confirmation, and teacher repeats what was in the lecture, gives the summary. Now students here are guided through learning module that are provided to them in advance. Now students in the classroom practice performing these skills. Teacher guide the process with feedback. Students continue applying their knowledge. Teacher post and any additional explanation. Students are now equipped to seek help where they know they need it, and teacher continues guiding students toward greater or deeper understanding. So flip teaching, in a nutshell, form of blended learning in which students learn new content through reading material. Reading material can be in the form of self learning. I'll show you the specimen of self learning material, or CAI package, computer assisted instruction package. I'll also give you the illustration at the end, or online by watching video lecture, usually at home. Okay, and what used to be homework is now done in the class, with teacher offering more personalized guidance and interaction. And in the literature, there are other terminologies: backward classroom, reverse instruction of flip, flipping the classroom, or you see reverse teaching. So traditional, to assign student to read material and to work on problem set. In flipped, the student first study the topic by themselves. Now we can relate the flipped class features with Bloom's taxonomy. Now, before the class, students are given material. They are studying individually at home. Maybe they will be able to remember some of the things. If the reading material is rich in simple language, interactive tone, lot of illustrations, examples, then they would be able to comprehend some of the things also. Now in the classroom, teacher first of all get the doubts clarified, and give them some exam exercises they will apply. They will be able to analyze, and after the class, the teacher can give them small projects where they will be able to apply. They will be able to justify the worth of something, or they will be able to create something. So this is how. So flipped classroom is not just online video. Let me tell you, you cannot replace flipped classroom with teacher. You cannot replace teacher with flipped classroom. Teacher has to be there. It is not just reading and learning material. It is not about replacing teacher with video reading material. It is not an online class. It is not where students work without structure. It means for delivering instruction through flip mode, you need to structure your lecture plan. You need to prepare, you need to plan for your lecture also. It is not where students are working alone, that is in isolation. It is not where students spending the entire class online. Rather, flipped classroom is a means, it's a way to increase teacher contact time. That is, teacher can now spend more time uh, while interacting, while you see giving more examples. No, he's not you see only to he's not to give the content in the classroom. Content he has delivered, and many times content is also available in textbooks. And I think you might have noticed that some students they complain, sir, why we need to attend your class only for taking for the attendance purpose? Because everything what you are giving, you are telling in the classroom is available in a particular book. What new thing? So in a classroom, more interaction, more participation. Okay? So it's environment that increases student responsibility. You see, through this mode, we are making students responsible to read the material at home. If they are not you see comprehending the material, they will not be able to participate. And many good institutions have started offering their you see classes through flipped mode. So it is blending of direct instruction and constructivist learning. It is a class where all students are engaged. It is a class where even absent student won't fall behind. You see, the material they have got with them. Some student is absent, so he can read the material. If he has got some doubt, he can get clarified when the teacher is you see available in his chamber. It is a class where all students are engaged in their learning. So shift we have shifted the paradigm from teacher centered to student centered. Now, if you look at the advantages of flipped classroom over you see traditional method of teaching, let me quickly and briefly give you the advantages. It teaches students to take responsibility for their own learning. I have already told you. It creates a way to easily personalize and differentiate the classroom. You see, students they study the material at their own pace. They can read it again and again. They can watch the video again and again. It makes learning the center of the classroom. Students come to the class uh, and they express themselves in the classroom. We give students prompt feedback because material is written is prepared in small chunks. Each chunk has got some inbuilt question followed by feedback. It provides opportunities for remediation. It allows for multiple means of learning the content through assignment, case studies, videos, textbooks, other resources available in the YouTube or Google. Multiple chances for demonstrating understanding, verbal discussion, short video demonstration. Now you see, flipped model has changed the role of the teacher. You see, in a classroom, traditional classroom, teacher's role is to stand in front of the students and pour the information. Now, here, the teachers spend the time doing what is more important. What is more important? Helping students, leading small groups, working with those students who are struggling. So teacher here find themselves walking around the room, going to the students individually, and the important role is of a supportive coach. And this model also ensures that all students are involved. Now you see, the group work is given, and provides hands-on activities more personal. Now, benefits to the student, they can learn at their own pace, provide opportunities for review because material is with them, material are ready and prepared for absentees also. Students can take the ownership, they can actively party, they need not struggle with completing homework. Now, teachers, their role is shifted from sage on the stage to guide on the side. They can spend more time for supplementing. They can spend less time managing student classroom behavior. And for developing learning material, they can collaborate with their colleagues. They can jointly prepare the content. Now they can connect with the students, and they can involve with student learning rather than merely lecturing. So as I told you that the role of the teacher is changed. So the teacher cannot uh, operate in this flipped model if he is not proficient in this content area, because content has already been given to the students. So students, when they come to the classroom, they come with lot of questions. So only that teacher can operate in this model if he or she is proficient in his content area. So the ability to move mentally from one topic to another is very necessary on the part of the teacher, and he should have a comprehensive understanding of the interconnectedness of the content. Okay, lot of question will come to him, and teacher must be able to admit if he or she is not having the answer to a particular question. He must be willing to research and answer with the student. If some question comes to you and you don't have the ready-made answer, one way is you can quickly pass on this question to the students. Can any one of you answer this question? Maybe you can get some hint, or maybe you get some time to recollect. And if there is no response from the student and there is no answer in you, you can honestly say that I'll study at home, you also study at home, so tomorrow we'll take up this particular. And this should not happen every day. Today again you have got a question, you don't have the answer, you say that I will study at home. So if this happens very frequently every day, then in that way you will be able to, you see, lose the interest and confidence of your students. The teacher must be able to flow through a class period in a non-linear fashion. Okay, teacher must be able to give up control of the learning process to the students, and the teacher must play the role of a supportive coach. So instead of standing in front of room, pouring information and being the center of attention, so flipped classroom method has helped teacher doing what is most important. वो क्या है? Helping them, leading small group in the classroom, working with those individuals who are struggling. Now, let me, you see, present before you one small, you see, research study which was conducted by Chan Louis and his colleagues. It was conducted on a number of articles on the effectiveness of flipped classroom in medical education with different learning outcomes, and they have reported the findings in terms of the effect of flipped classroom, perception of flipped classroom, attitude changes, and knowledge skills and behavior changes with flipped classroom model. So, in respect of effect of flipped classroom, This review, which they have carried out on 46 articles, suggested inconsistent findings regarding the effect of flipped classroom student learning, with some suggesting benefits while others reporting negligible improvement over traditional. But gradually, once the students start accepting this mode, definitely, let me tell you, you will find this mode as the most appropriate approach. Now, as far as perceptions of students are concerned, students were generally satisfied with this approach, particularly the usefulness of online module because of their easy access, because they can study at their own pace, they can read it again and again, they can watch the video again and again. And attitude have been also changed. Positive changes were reported in this review. Studies have suggested that the students reported increased enjoyment, decreased boredom, and greater task value in flipped classroom. As far as knowledge, skill, and behavior changes with flipped classroom, the review has has observed mixed results regarding students' changes in knowledge and skills with the flipped classroom versus the traditional lecture. So some studies found positive results with others suggesting no differences. So this review has further provided number of suggestions that the researcher can carry out small experiment in their own discipline. So I can suggest you that you can identify two topics or even one topic from your class that you will be not you see delivering through traditional mode. So you will prepare e-content, you will also prepare a video, make two groups of the class randomly. To one group you will be teaching the material through lecture mode, to the other group you are giving them the content, and the students they are required to study at home, and they in the classroom they will so pre-test post-test you can experiment you can follow. Now, in the literature, you will find number of other research studies: English as foreign language, sociology course, teaching basic sciences, mathematics teaching. So I have given you the links also. Organic chemistry, college mathematics, implementing in primary school history teaching, and the impact of flip teaching on student performance at school level in India. Now, the goal of flipped classroom model is to find an approach that would make it possible for the teacher to move from sage to guide. So, I have already shared all these features. Now, I'll give you how to implement flipped classroom in the you see actually. Firstly, you need to establish learning outcomes and you have to prepare a plan. So as far as traditional teaching method is concerned, you establish learning outcome. For this also, you have to structure your lecture plan, you have to define learning outcomes, you have to prepare a plan. Okay, then develop e-content or record a video, or you can identify video from YouTube, and YouTube video can be used only for the classroom instruction purpose, not for the commercial use. And then assure that students have got the e-content and the videos. Okay, and also try to incorporate learning activities which are to be done in the classroom, and create multiple versions of summative assessment. And there are some other strategies which can also be used for making you see flipped classroom very effective. That is uh, you can allow students to apply concepts in class, that is you are giving them homework, and you can also allow students to teach each other by explaining concepts or working on small problems, and you can use collaborative learning activities, problem based learning activities, and discussions or debates can also be included for making the flipped classroom more effective. Now, as I told you that as a teacher you have to develop e-content, maybe in the form of self-learning or computer-assisted instruction package. So, self-learning material is a method of providing individualized learning in which each student is active, proceeds at his or her own pace, and is provided with immediate knowledge of result. When I say immediate knowledge of result, means that each module will contain inbuilt questions followed by feedback. So many open distance flexible learners usually depend a lot on self-learning material because they have to learn on their own at a time, pace, and place of their own choice. So there are important features or characteristics of self-learning material. Self-learning material, the first characteristic is self-explanatory. What does it mean? It means that the materials are developed in such a manner that doesn't require any intermediary, even teacher, to explain the content. The content is written in simple language, in small chunks, to help the learner comprehend the material by reading and working through instruction. So, content is organized logically and in an integrated manner. So, basically, a teacher is built in into the text. Okay, so the materials are explained with number of examples, cases, illustrations. So everything is there, and it is self-contained. You need not go here and there. You need not you see read one book or another book. Everything is in, and even the teacher has given the other sources that, like Google link also. Say you have uh, good material Google link, and you have found some link, good material as well, you are also giving that link. You have found a good video available on YouTube, you are also providing a link. So everything is one in one. Self directed, self instructional. Okay, then self motivating. You see, in a classroom, motivation is very essential. So you can include number of illustrations, pictures, diagrams. You can make certain. You can write some material in. You see in a rectangle illustration, or you can also append video that is self-motivating. And another is self-evaluating, means that you will give uh, questions followed by feedback. So self-evaluation. So as far as this part is concerned, I think it is okay. Now, what I will show you the this one. This is a specimen of a self-learning material. So topic, you can write your name and your designation, and then first of all, what is the objective of this whole module? So you will give the broad objective of the module. After reading the learning material, you will be able to. Then learning outcome, very specific. Then another is prerequisite knowledge. That is what your students are supposed to know before the start of this topic. Okay. So it is assumed that the learners are quite familiar with the concept of teaching, instruction, and so on. Now you will start with the introduction. Now you will use the interactive language. You see, this material, once the student is reading, he will have a feel of that a teacher is talking to him and not simply he is reading out the text from a textbook. देखिए कैसे लिखा है, dear learners, as you know, that earlier instruction plans have been made largely by intuition. Okay, I'll teach up to here. Oh no, I must include this point also, and have often been based on ambiguous goals. Today I will teach you about inertia, or sometimes teachers say I will enable you understand no Ohm's law and casual subjective judgment. It means that the main interest has been with method of teaching rather than with learning, and it is noticed that instruction process is complex and that it is composed of many interrelated components. आगे लिखा है, please note that by controlling, this is interactive language. Now, before developing the concept of system approach, it is essential to understand the term system. So we often use the word system in day-to-day life describing the subject. Let us take the example of a car and find out the various parts of a car. So let us list parts of a car. Okay, lot of illustration examples. Okay, language is interactive. Now practice task. Now define a system. Once you have read this all the information, you can also prepare multiple choice questions here also, and then the feedback. This is self evaluation to practice task. Then you are excellent. Now you may learn the next input as follows. Practice task again. जो 1.5 घंटे में आपने लेक्चर पढ़ाना है वो आपने मटेरियल दे दिया उनको. उसके बाद आता है आपका रेफरेंसेस एंड बिब्लियोग्राफी, देन सपोर्टिंग लर्निंग रिसोर्सेज जो वीडियो आपने बनाई है, एंड देन वेब रिसोर्सेज, ये लिंक्स आपने दे दिए यूट्यूब के या गूगल के जो जो मटेरियल है. ठीक है, तो अब मैं आपके सामने प्रेजेंट करता हूं एक स्मॉल कंप्यूटर असिस्टेड इंस्ट्रक्शन पैकेज. यानी जो मटेरियल आपने ई कंटेंट बनाया उसकी जगह आपने सीआई पैकेज बना लें. तो सीआई पैकेज बनाने के लिए यू नीड टू नो वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सॉफ्टवेयर लाइक टूल बुक और ऑथरवेयर, लेकिन मैंने इम्प्रोवाइज किया है पावर पॉइंट में. तो पावर पॉइंट में मैंने क्या किया, आपको पता होना चाहिए दैट इफ यू प्रेस एनी की और इफ यू क्लिक माउस यू विल गेट द नेक्स्ट स्क्रीन. ओके, ऐसा होता है. तो मैंने क्या किया, मैंने पावर पॉइंट में एक फीचर है कि आपने कीबोर्ड को लॉक कर दिया और माउस को लॉक कर दिया एंड यू हैव क्रिएटेड द बटन्स. ओके, and you can give number of illustration here and you will find computer assisted instruction is more liked by the students. Now I'll show you the
Welcome dear learners to massive open online course on self-learning material development. Dear learners, you have already understood the process of design and development of computer-assisted self-instructional material. In this video, you will have a feel of computer-assisted self-instructional material. Let us take an example of uniform and non-uniform velocity from the subject of physics. And the beauty of this CAI package is that it is developed using only PowerPoint presentation, and here we have locked the mouse and we have also locked the keyboard. We have created buttons. Unless the learner presses a particular button, the next screen will appear. So uniform and non-uniform velocity. Now let us start with. So as already informed you that the first screen will display the instructional objectives. That is, at the end of the session you will be able to. So there are two types of objective written. One is the broad objective and second is the learning outcomes. So understand the concept of average speed, know uniform and non-uniform velocity, understand the concept of acceleration, and learning outcomes are calculate the average speed of a body, identify from the given example whether an object is accelerated, and state the SI units of acceleration. Now in this screen you will have three buttons: home, previous, and next. Now we'll move to next. Now, in this slide, we want to test the prerequisites possessed by the learner. So, some questions are given. For example, if your car is moving at a speed of 60 km per hour in first 2 hours and 72 km per hour for next 2 hours, it means your car is moving with. Now, there are four options and the student will select one of these four options. Let us say the option is B, non-uniform speed. Now the feedback is presented to the student. It is stated, well, your answer is correct. Now his answer is being reinforced and the reasoning is also given why he has chosen the right answer. Now you can move to the next question. Next question: SI unit of velocity are meter per second, centimeter per second, kilometer, and meter per second square. Let us take answer A as the correct answer. So your answer is correct. Again, the student is being reinforced and the reasoning is also given. Now he has to move to the next question. Now you have to move to the next question. Velocity is a vector quantity because it is determined by, again there are four options. So let us see both magnitude and direction. C option is correct. Now click here and you will find the feedback. Now this man is walking with a velocity of 2 km per hour in west direction. It means it contains both the magnitude as well as the direction. Now next. Now the input is given and already you have studied that the matter is divided into small inputs and the language is quite simple and interactive. Now let us read it. On her way to Agra, Anjali travels by her car which is moving at a speed of 50 km per hour for first hour and 60 km per hour for next hour. What is average speed of car? Well, average speed? This is new term for you. Now you will study about average speed. The question which comes in mind is that is it necessary that an object covers equal distances in equal intervals of time? No, it is not possible. An object cannot cover equal distance in equal intervals of time. For example, while traveling in a car, it is not possible to keep car at a constant speed. So it is better to express speed in terms of average speed. So you see that the matter is presented in interactive tone. Now we move to next screen. When we travel in a vehicle, the speed of vehicle changes from time to time depending upon the conditions existing on the road. So in such a situation, the speed is calculated by the ratio of the total distance traveled by the vehicle to the total time taken for the journey, and this is called as the average speed. Now you will notice that the main idea is presented in different font color, font type you can use differently. So there is one animation. Now next. If an object covers a distance s1 in time t1, distance s2 in time t2, and distance sn in time tn, then the average speed is given by this formula. So again, the main idea is given in a rectangle and it is given in bold letters, different font color, font type. So thus when we say that the car travels at an average speed of 60 km per hour, it doesn't mean that the car would be moving with the speed of 60 km per hour throughout the journey. Now next screen, there is one inbuilt practice task question. A car travels 100 km at a speed of 50 km per hour and returns with a speed of 40 km per hour. What is the average speed of whole journey? Now the student can take his own time and he can calculate. Say the answer is C, 44.4 km per hour. So again his answer is being reinforced. The calculation is also given and now he will move to the next screen. You can take an example of a car. As in the case of uniform speed, car will have uniform velocity if it covers equal distance in equal intervals of time, no matter how small these time intervals may be, but in a specified direction in a straight line. So in this example, car will be having uniform velocity only if it travels 30 km per hour in same direction. Now you can move to the next once you have read this material. But what will happen if car changes its direction? Yes, change in direction will lead to a change in the velocity of the car. So, velocity of car will not remain uniform as given in the definition. So, let us think over how can we change velocity of a body. There are two ways. One is you change the speed of the body or change the direction of the body by keeping speed constant. Next, now you can take an example. Two athletes, Ram and Sham, are running with a uniform speed of 5 meters per second. Ram is running on a straight track. Now this animation is here. Sham moves on a circular track. For a layman, both Ram and Sham are moving with uniform velocity, but for a physicist only. Of course, Ram is running with uniform velocity because there is no change in his speed and direction of motion. Whereas in case of Shyam, who is running along a circular track, the direction of motion is changing at every instant as circle is polygon with infinite sides and Shyam has to change his direction at every instant. So now he can move to the next slide, or if he wants to study the previous slide, he can click the previous button. Okay, now let us move to next. So you can now define these terms. A body is said to be moving with uniform velocity if it covers equal distances in equal intervals of time in a specified direction. So a body is said to be moving with variable velocity if it covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time and vice versa in a specified direction, or if it changes the direction of the motion. Now next slide. Let us take an example. Car is moving on a road. What about its velocity? Will it be uniform or not? Answer to this problem is velocity of car is not uniform because even if the speed of car is constant, the car is changing its direction continually. This is the case of changing velocity, that is velocity is variable or non-uniform velocity. Next slide. Now you can check your understanding. A bus is moving on hilly road with speed of 20 km per hour. It means bus is moving with non-uniform velocity. So you are correct. So again the feedback is given. Next slide. This problem has given rise to the new concept in the field of motion, and that is acceleration. So what is acceleration? Let us take an example of a car. It starts from rest, that is its initial velocity is 0. At 0 second v is 0. After 5 second v is 10 meter per second. After 10 second it is 20 meter per second. In this situation, car is changing its velocity by 10 meter per second after every 5 second. Now next, car is accelerating. So again there is some animation. The data is given. In above example, car changes its velocity after every 5 seconds. If the velocity of the car increases, the body is said to be accelerating. Now you can define the concept of acceleration. Now the formula is given in a rectangle and a different font color, different font type. Next. Now you can try to answer this. So again there is one question given here. Now you can move to next slide. Try to find answer to this problem. Say a car starting from rest acquires a velocity of 36 km per hour in 5 seconds. Its acceleration is. So using that formula given in the previous slide, you can find out the answer. Say answer is B. So your answer is correct. Again feedback is given. So next slide. Well, the term acceleration need not always mean that the velocity of a moving body is always increasing. It can also decrease, remain the same, or become zero. Now one example is given here. So train starts from rest and gains a speed of 100 meter per second. That is, it accelerates after some time. Now this illustration is given here and the relevant content is also given. Now magnitude and direction of acceleration changes with changing velocity of a body. So here again illustration is given, and you can take some of the illustrations from the website. Now end session test, that average speed is equal to, so say answer is D, so your answer is correct. Okay, your answer is being reinforced. A body moving with a constant speed of 20 meter per second and following a zigzag path has, say, non-uniform velocity. Say answer is B. Your answer is correct. So next, the SI unit of acceleration is, say, meter per second square. Say you have chosen B as the right answer. So it will say that your answer is not correct because acceleration is this, unit of acceleration is this. So your answer is not being reinforced. Now next. So at the end, the whole chapter is summarized. So the main points are highlighted in the simple language, and at the end, thank you very much. So it means you can either go to the previous slide or you can go to the home page. So home page was this, uniform and non-uniform velocity. So dear learners, in this video you had a feel of computer assisted self instructional material, and you can develop self instructional material using PowerPoint presentation mode, and you need not require the knowledge of other difficult software. Thank you very much.